لأجلك يا مدينة الصلاة أصلي، لأجلك يا بهية المساكن، يا زهرة المدائن، يا قدس يا قدس يا قدس يا مدينة الصلاة أصلي.
Welcome back. Moving on to our first segment for today to check on the current situation in Gaza Strip. On a phone call between the Egyptian Foreign Minister Badr Abdulati and his German counterpart, there were many talks on finding means to reach an immediate ceasefire and allowing more humanitarian aid to enter into the Gaza Strip. And according to the Egyptian Foreign Minister, he was talking about the importance of finding a way to put more pressure on Israel to abide by the international law and to stop this genocide war. To discuss this in more details, over the phone we have Dr. Hassan Wagih, Professor of Political Science. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. So we have always been talking about finding a way to put more pressure on Israel. And even though we can see all what is happening, we can see all of the international community, of course I'm not talking about the leaders, but also I'm talking about civilians all around the world. We have seen demonstrations taking place all around, even in the United States, just talking against Israel. And also we had many European countries who had recognized Palestine as an independent state. So let's talk more about what kind of pressure more to be put on Israel to just stop this barbarian genocide war against civilians in Palestine.
Actually, one of the most important things, yes, to keep the international pressure, to keep these moves from all over the world, and remind the international community with the UN resolution of ceasefire. Even the last one was an American one, and I hope this pressure should be enhanced. This is one direction. The other direction is that there should be some mediators who really convince the Israelis of the very heavy losses they have inflicted, and escalating and doing what they are doing will get them nowhere, and they will get them into much more losing track. So I think that Egypt has exerted the strategic patience, and the moves of Egyptian foreign policy all the time since the beginning of this conflict is very keen to not to enlarge the conflict and not to cause it to go out of proportion, or to get it in as a crisis slide, to slide into other larger crises. The problem also, there is a cross-cultural and intercultural problem here. There should be an awareness that this religious extremism will get the whole world into a third world war. This should be stopped by all fair-minded actors in the world. And it should be explained if they are talking about reforming the religious discourse and they were focusing on our area. No, let us the whole world focus on the wrongful religious extremism that really predict that there should be a grand war, and there should be under the slogan of fake religion slogans. And I think this is very important effort. And when I'm talking about cross-cultural and intercultural in this area, there should be interfaith convention, there should be cross-cultural communication intervention, so as to explain to the world and discuss the logic, because it is so illogical. And these arguments could be torpedoed by any fair-minded people. And the whole world will suffer a lot from this religious extremism. Can you imagine that when we are talking and we are trying to play the mediator, you have a move in Israel called Occupy Now. Occupy what? They wanted to occupy Sinai. Oh, this is very dangerous. Occupy, inflame the Lebanese front. I think they will get nowhere, and especially if they try to activate this Occupy Now focus, because in 1973 we proved that Sinai is intact, no one can touch it, and the Egyptians are ready to defend themselves against all these kinds of things and against this sabotage when it comes to transfer and this crazy plans. They will get the Israelis to nowhere, and they should mind their steps.
Unfortunately, when we talk about some of the international mediators, of course, we have seen the United States playing this role, and on the other side, the United States is one of the first allies of Israel. So whatever mediation they are making, still they are supporting them with weapons and money, and they are killing civilians over there. Do you think there is a way just to change the priorities of the U.S. leadership just to stop this aggression against the civilians in Gaza Strip?
The United States policymakers should understand that it is the Israeli and Netanyahu plan is very narrow-minded, and they should stop his plan. And I think he will go to, because it is a personal thing for him to stay in this kind of atmosphere, which is terrible. I think that the United States should mind their interest in the area, and I think that they should be aware that Netanyahu would like to involve them deeply into a war. When you are talking about Occupy Now movement, no, they wanted to hit Iran now. So if they got into Hezbollah and Iran, I think that they are trying to involve the United States in a war that I believe from calculations that the United States doesn't need that and doesn't want that. So I hope that the American leadership, despite the fact that they are having the chaos of elections, no, they should stand up saying, no, enough is enough, and they should mind their, and I'm talking about as if I am putting myself in their place. No, that is a losing track that the Israelis are pursuing. The only track is the two-state solution and the wise implementation of the UN resolution. And yesterday, King Charles, in his statement in the British Parliament, said that there is no way out but to have two-state solution, and the whole world should work on that. So I hope this kind of statement will have a way to be operationalized.
Well, I think there must be a sort of sanctions against Israel, because no one ever, we didn't hear up till now any sanctions against Israel or a real thing that took place on the ground just to stop this aggression. We are only talking, or we can see some countries condemning and talking about allowing more humanitarian aid, but we didn't see sanctions just to stop it immediately or to reach an immediate ceasefire.
This is because of the weakness, the terrible weakness, the state of weakness of the United Nations and international organizations. And as Guterres, General Secretary, once said, the situation in the world today is like what happened with the League of Nations, when everything went out of control and the whole world got into a second world war. I hope that this call for reforming the United Nations, for operationalizing the role of the United Nations and the other international organizations, and with which is very missing now. The zero-sum playing is very dominant in the international arena, and I hope that the fair-minded majority should raise their voice and raise the level of their operationalized move to implement and to put sanction and to put everything in order. I hope this is the only way, and this needs a complex diplomacy, the Arab world, the Islamic summit, to come back to this. And we should be much more of an active role, because this specifically will get the whole world nowhere.
How do you see Germany's support for the UNRWA?
Actually, from the very beginning, Germany and the other Western powers were for blind support for Israel. But now, after having seen these massacres, these genocidal acts, nobody in the whole world can consent, can turn a deaf ear or turn a blind eye for what is happening. So I think Germany is like many foreign ministries all over the world. Even Macron, when he just talked to the president a few days ago, everyone knows that this should have an end. And I think that the Egyptian role is very important in operationalizing this end. I mean, coming to a peaceful end, starting the two-state solution procedure is the only way out.
Well, talking about the current situation, how do you see the coordination between Egypt and Germany when it comes to the implementation of the UNSC resolution number 2720 on increasing the flow of humanitarian aid into the Gaza Strip, and also creating a UN mechanism to observe and follow up on the delivery of this aid?
Actually, nobody can deny that what is the Palestinian people in Gaza, the suffering of the Palestinian people in Gaza is could be intolerable for any fair-minded person. So I think that the move on the part of the German foreign ministry, also the French, also other countries, I think there should be collective pressure getting into this, because there is a humanitarian crisis and nobody can consent to what's happening and turn a blind eye to it.
So, talking about the security of navigation in the Red Sea and its impact on the movement of trade in general, this also was discussed on the phone call. How do you see this so far?
Actually, it is weird. It is unbelievably what is being witnessed now in the Red Sea, because when you have all these fleets from Western powers and they don't have any active role to keep order in this area of the world, I think there is some kind of complexity. The term complexity is there in this whole thing when it comes to our area. So there are hidden agendas to keep things as they are, despite the fact that the Houthi could be stopped. And I think that the whole thing, we should understand this, because if they stop what is happening in Gaza, the Houthi, the Hezbollah, everyone will stop. So I think the whole thing is coming when you address the situation actively and decisively in Gaza. And the whole world should understand this.
Dr. Hassan Wagih, Professor of Political Science, thank you very much for joining us. And moving on to a quick break, then we'll be back.